Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. Vince McSham with you here. This is now episode 4 of Inside the Creator Studio. And today, joining me in the studio, none other than Rebel Without a Cause.
In nature.
Thanks again for taking time to join us here today inside the Creator Studio. You've been busy.
Yeah, I have been.
Yeah, you have been. So, for the folks that may not have seen yet, they will as soon as this goes up. What I like about you is you kind of go in a different direction. There's a lot of people that are doing AEW, doing WWE, and all other promotions that deal with Impact and Ring of Honor, all that kind of stuff. You got a different take on things. So I'm going to run down just a list of some of the stuff that you've put up so far, which includes Anna and Elsa from Frozen, Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, Daphne, Fred, Vilma, Dr. Dre, Maui, Luke Skywalker, the Scorpion King,
Yep.
Rambo, Sting, there's a wrestler, Jason Voorhees. And guys, if you haven't seen Jason yet, I'm going to be posting right here as we're going live here with this, but I'll have some pictures coming up as well, and you'll see that it's not just Jason with the hockey mask. If you take the hockey mask off, then you're going to see Jason under the hockey mask. So there's so much detail that goes into the stuff you're putting out, and I just love the fact that you've gone at it from a totally different direction. So what inspiration do you draw when you start making your creations?
Well, I'm a big movie guy, so I have tried to make a few wrestlers like you've seen, but there's so many different versions out there, like with Sting, The Fiend, CM Punk, just name a few.
Yeah.
And I've tried making those ones because they are my favorite wrestlers, but ever since these games have come out, one thing I've liked about them is just seeing all the random characters in the ring. I think since 2015, I've always seen like Rumble videos on YouTube of people throwing in guys like Peter Griffin and Ronald McDonald, things like that. So that's really what I'm trying to do, is just to stand out from the crowd.
And that's one of the things that I think that drew me to you when I saw some of what you were posting, was exactly that. You were doing something different crowd, and you're right, there's like 150 CM Punks out there, and I lost track of how many Fiends, and it's hard to turn around today. If you upload even a really solid CM Punk, good luck getting any traction with it, because there's 150 before you, but there's probably not nearly as many people doing Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, I saw that nobody had done a character like that, so that's one I did. I've seen him, like I said, in older games, but so far for 2K22, nobody's done it yet. So. And
you did a hell of a job on it, too. I remember, oh gosh, it might be 2K or 17 or way back, and somebody had done a lot of TV show characters, including, from my childhood, the $6 Million Man, Steve Austin, and stuff like that, MacGyver and Knight Rider, Michael Kitt. And I just, man, the detail was really good there, and it was such a unique take on it, because everyone's used to making wrestlers, but to see them just making really quality TV stars. I think they did a Fonzie from Happy Days. I thought that was a really good twist on things, and that's part of what I like about this game from a creator standpoint, is that there's so much room for a creative mind to really explore. And when I saw Anna and Elsa, I was like, okay, I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, you could really create anything just about.
Yeah, and Maui, the one, I was like, holy cow! Now, how many logos are Maui?
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting a lot of people to like that one, but he's kind of been blown up recently. Just the face logo, and then each tattoo is separate. So
wow, that's what I was wondering.
There's one big one for the torso. He's got one on each side, a couple on his arms, and then about 4 on his legs. So not too many. Probably not as much as characters like the Fiend.
True.
Probably not as hard as you think.
All right. Well, like I said, when I looked at that, I was like, that had to take some time.
No, he's actually one of my easier ones.
Really? Well, the cool thing about it is this, too. As I mentioned all these names, now with the Scooby-Doo gang, that was pretty much from the movie. It looks like. Okay.
My girlfriend actually made those ones. I mean, I made Scooby, but she made the rest.
Oh, no kidding. Well, let's give her a
Yeah,
plug.
yeah, she's pretty good too.
No kidding. So what I like about like Maui, for example, though, and Anna and Elsa, we've only seen them in cartoon format, and now all
Yeah,
of a sudden they have like a real body on them. Seeing Maui as a heavyweight wrestler, but still looks like Maui, but now has a more human look to him.
yeah, Maui on a diet, basically.
You kind of have to, because otherwise he would look like Yokozuna, and that wouldn't be right either.
Yeah, that's really as big as I can make them. So,
So, do you have any
but
formal training in art at all?
uh, a little bit. I'm still in college, but I've been drawing my whole life. Um, I'm in college for graphic design,
There
so
you go.
that's really where my skills with Photoshop and Illustrator, things like that. Um, and sometimes, I will have to make my own logos just to make it fit on there. Even though, you could probably find certain images on custom or community creations, but I try to avoid using other people's images because I just feel like I'm stealing from them, you know?
Yeah, I know a lot of people that have that same sentiment in the creators world. There, I've over the posted logos and stuff up, and if I didn't want people to use them, then I wouldn't post them. Is the way I look at it. So if somebody's putting it out there to be used, then that's kind of what
Yeah,
it's there for. With the game, with the characters, you can put the option on that it's not available to be re-uploaded. You don't really have that so much with the logos. Therefore, I feel like if you're putting them out there to be downloaded, then that's kind of what you're asking for somebody to do with them.
yeah, you have a point.
So, but I also find that a lot of times we can make stuff better. The logos, I'm pretty good on that. It's just the faces that I've been trying to improve upon, and that seems to be the bigger challenge because if you don't get the lighting right on a face scan, if you're taking it off of an actual image or something like that, and it's got a glare on it, it's going to show up terribly in the game. They're
Yeah,
just
it's going to throw off the whole thing.
yeah. That's where I think your graphic background would probably really help a lot because you're going to have a different level of experience with Photoshop than the average person might.
Yeah, and most of my drawings, I've done portraits, so that really helps when it comes to designing the face.
Very good. Thing with have you done anything with sculpt?
Sculpting, no, not really.
No.
A few things here and there, but no, that's not my expertise.
Okay. I did a little bit back in the day, and I just feel like I fall back on some of that when it comes to the faces, especially when you're getting in there and changing the construct of the cheeks and the jawline and all that stuff. I just feel like it's kind of like working with clay in its own way.
Yeah, I mean, some people just throw a face photo on there and they think it'll look good, but
No.
I mean, if you morph the face with it, it's not going to look right.
Yeah, no, you've got to do a little more than just put a sticker on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So how long have you been actually doing the creating stuff?
Uh, Probably since 2K14.
Okay. You go back a few years.
Yeah, I just uh, I wasn't fortunate enough to ever have an internet connection, so I never uploaded any of my stuff until about 2K19. But that was later. It wasn't when the game first came out, so I did get a few downloads, but not as much as I'm getting now, of course.
Well, the other good thing about 2K22, and there's not a lot of great things I'll say about 2K22 yet until they fix it better, but having the cross-platform thing is a huge success for everybody because now the arena's just opened up. I mean, I was doing an interview earlier, and the number difference is so big from what people are getting downloaded on their work this year is when they were just dealing with one console. So if you were a PS4 person and you were uploading there, then you only had the PS4 community. Whereas now, you've got everything. You got Xbox, you got PC, you got them all.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about it too, because I remember in the older games, like for Deadpool, for example. There'd be a good Deadpool creation on PlayStation, but at the time I had Xbox, so I kind of had to try and figure out how to make them myself.
And I heard that from so many people over the years. Like, I wish I could load these CAWS, but I can't because I'm on Xbox. And Xbox had a pretty bad rep for a while, where a lot of people said creators weren't putting out the content that they would see on the PlayStation. Never had an Xbox in my life, so I can't say firsthand as to what kind of creative content was there and not there. But that was something I heard on a number of different occasions where I figured, okay, well, they'll not have that more. They can get it from anywhere they want. But it all looks like, when I look at who the creators are that I'm downloading, they don't all say PlayStation. A lot do have Xbox and even the PC.
Yeah, there's a lot of PC players for sure. I get a lot of requests to put my content on there, but I don't use Steam, unfortunately, and I also don't. Some of them ask me to upload it on like a crashed or cracked. I think they say cracked, like on a cracked system.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell them I don't know how to do that.
That makes two of us.
I don't want to crack my PlayStation just to, upload a couple things.
Yeah, and then it comes with all kinds of possibilities where you could be banned for life and stuff like that. So, not worth messing with it.
No way.
So, out of all the suites, out of all the creation suites that you have worked, which one is your favorite?
I really did like 2K14. 2K19 stood out for sure. But I think, even though the game does have some issues, I think 2K22 is my favorite so far.
Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of people have been saying 19, and love 19, don't get me wrong. I do think the creation, well, all right, so here's where we come back to this thing. There's advancements that were made in 2K22, but they also took a lot away from us in 2K22. So the obvious is the body morphing. Yeah, I mean, you're handcuffed so great. Now, for a lot of wrestlers, it's okay, and you can still make a great looking and it doesn't affect anything. But you want to make a Maui and make it accurate, be able to change. In 19, you could change the chest and separately from the abdomens and separately from the legs, whereas now it's like, hey, pick 6.
Yeah, I don't know why they took that out. I mean, I guess they were trying to make it easier for you, like maybe quicker in a way, but it really just, it took so much from it. Like, that's probably the only complaint I have, because they did add a lot of other things. Like, they've been adding new hairstyles with each patch. And, they have some of the 2K20 stuff that I actually wasn't able to use from the DLC. I think there was like a Cyberpunk DLC and then a Wasteland type of thing.
You didn't miss anything, trust me, it wasn't all that.
Yeah. Well, it's come in handy for a couple of creations.
Yeah, some of the attires were nice to have, I'm sure, but my logic on why they took it away isn't so much. They said even it was about making things simplified, things of that nature. I think they just didn't have time or the team ready to implement all those individual crafting modes. I think next time it comes out, all of a sudden it'll be there because they've had an extra year to develop that part. I think they were just trying to cram a lot of stuff into a 2-year period, and that's why a lot of it has not panned out probably the way they thought it would.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, they've had so much time to come out with this game.
Yeah.
I don't think they really have an excuse.
No.
That's just my opinion.
No, and it's a lot of people's opinion. That's the whole thing there. And when I hear Stephanie McMahon on the financial call saying how it has been a financial and a critical success, I'm like, financial, I'll give you that because you screwed us all over for a lot of money. But critical success, I know that you're just relying on the word of a few magazines that didn't really play the game, certainly didn't dive into universe mode and all the other intricacies of the game or try crafting or creating wrestling. If you just play the base game alone, that probably is a critical success. But the rest of it just goes on to show that they're not listening to the fans' feedback.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, greatest wrestling game of all time? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. What would you say is the greatest wrestling game of all time?
Man. I'd have to go like way back. Like even though the graphics are better now and everything, I'd have to go with either SmackDown Here Comes the Pain.
That's mine.
Or or on the Nintendo 64, WCW / NWO Revenge.
Yep.
I don't know if you're that.
Yeah, I got that.
That was one of my favorites.
Those are both good titles. I am definitely a big fan of Here Comes the Pain. It's obviously it's an arcade versus more realistic style, and it was just so much mindless fun.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, the gameplay was fun.
Yep.
The simulation style was cool too, but
and that's a difference too. This year's simulation, and I've tested the sliders in different ways and try to see if we can get things. It's just I got matches ending where somebody throws a right punch to the head, person goes down, gets a 3 count.
Yeah, I've had matches like that too. I hate it.
And 2K19 never.
What's that?
In 2K19, I never had that problem.
Yeah, me neither. When I actually first got this game, I think I did a match with Ronda and Charlotte,
Mm-hmm.
and I tapped her out, but the match didn't end. Then Charlotte gets back up, she kicks me in the head, and then 1, 2, 3, that's it.
But she had a loaded boot.
I don't know if you've had any issues like that. But.
So far as professional wrestling itself is concerned, what is your early memory? Like, what match did you watch one day that made you a wrestling fan?
I think the first big match for me was probably Sting and Hogan at a Starrcade '97.
That's not one.
Definitely a Hogan match.
Yeah, they did a great job of building up to it. I mean, probably the best job of any match. I mean, it was almost a year building up for that match.
Yeah, Sting didn't really work for a whole year. He just sat up in the rafters.
Right. Dropped down towards the end, hit a couple of guys with the Scorpion Death Drop. Only problem was how the match ended. They screwed that ending up so bad.
Yeah.
First, you had all that was supposed to be a count, but it wasn't a fast count. And then Bret Hart comes in. I'm not going to allow something like that to happen. Something like what to happen? He just got a legitimate 3 count.
I know, it didn't make any sense. I was confused too.
Yeah, there's some stories that I don't think have been told about what really happened there because, Hogan, man, that doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah.
A lot of things don't work for him. But so you came in right around that time frame, though. So that's when the Monday Night Wars were still hot and heavy, and WCW was still WCW before they started really getting terrible.
Yeah.
Who was the guy back then? Was it Sting?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Sting has always been my favorite. Hogan. And of course Goldberg when he came out.
Goldberg, another one. They launch this monster and they do it perfectly, and then they screw it up in a blink of an eye with a stupid cattle prod.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure out for the life of me why they. Well, I know why, it's all politics, but it just.
Well, it had a lot to do with Kevin Nash, didn't it?
Yeah, politics.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is, I guess. At the end of the day, we can look back on it. We can remember what was, what should have been, which is kind of where this game comes in. Speaking of, in the 2K2, what is it that you do the most? Obviously, creation mode. Do you play the game? I've talked to a lot of creators that barely have ever played 2 matches.
I play the game a lot. I don't really dive into my GM mode.
Same here.
I briefly tried universe mode. I've never been big on that either.
Oh, you don't like universe mode? No kidding. That surprises me.
I do like it. It's just I don't spend too much time in it. My faction, again, I've gone into it here and there. but it's not my favorite mode. Probably the only mode I've really dived into is the showcase.
Rey Mysterio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good way of unlocking stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, if I do go into those modes, it's pretty much just to unlock stuff. That's the only reason.
Yeah, and I had a situation I was telling somebody earlier that maybe a week of the game, it crashed on me and it killed all my saved data files. And I was like pissed, but the good news was I didn't really create anything. I had downloaded a lot of other people's content this year. I determined that I spent a lot of time creating every year, but then a week or two later, I see somebody made something better, and I take theirs and end up getting rid of mine. As well, that was time wasted. So I figured this year I'm just going to download the best that I can find. And I had done that, and then it all got wiped out. So I'm thinking, okay, not a big deal. All I'm going to do is re-download it all, which didn't have a clue at the time that was going to take almost a week to do all that and put the seasons back together again and the universe mode, which is where I spend the majority of my time. But then it wasn't letting me download certain content because I hadn't unlocked it yet by playing through the Rey Mysterio. And I'm like, I am not doing that again. But I got lucky and I had a backup on a thumb drive I had totally forgot about. So I skipped that part, and at least I got the Rey Mysterio downloadable content stuff back and was able to go on forward from there. But that was still a lot of lost hours.
I hear you. Do you play on PC? What system are you on?
I'm on PS4. Been trying to find a PS5. Just, man, oh man. It's like finding the white whale. Yeah, it's a tough gig, man. Even when you find them going and they drop online, there's some bots out there that are grabbing them all up before you can get it. I've had two in the shopping cart, and I go to pay for them, and it's like, it's not in your shopping cart anymore.
Yeah, I've had the same problem.
I got pickpocketed online.
Yeah, I was able to find mine by somebody that lives close to me.
Mm-hmm.
He actually had gotten two from Best Buy because I guess he was trying to get another one for his son's friend. But I guess the kid's parents didn't let him have it, so he sold it to me.
Oh, there you go. Good for you, man. It's a tough gig. Like I said, getting one of those ain't easy.
Yeah.
Well, talking about universe mode a little bit, if you were going to book a dream match, it could be any two wrestlers at all, or any two teams for that matter. What would your dream match be if you were going to book one?
Just the characters that are in the game?
Any. I mean, you can create them if they're not. Where's your microphone right now? It sounds like it's being muffled.
Check that.
There it goes. There we go.
Better?
Yep, much.
All right. Okay, my dream match, I guess I would have to say, it's definitely Sting and Undertaker.
That's a good one.
I feel like that was a lost opportunity.
Yes.
We had them both at WrestleMania at one point, but it wasn't to face each other, and then it just never happened.
And even if you didn't want to put them against each other, which I get the idea, obviously, because you're never going to let The Undertaker lose to Sting in the WWE. Vince is not going to have that. So there would be no question of what the outcome of the match is going to be. I wouldn't have minded seeing them put them together for a tag team match. Oh, my God, that would be off the hook. Just to have those two legends in the ring together. But, yeah, missed opportunity. Kind of like back when Flair came into the WWF with the world title. And he and Hogan never fought at WrestleMania, even though they were supposed to.
Yeah. They've been messing up a lot in recent years.
They have. And then we see what's happening now because the talent is starting to get fed up with it, I think.
Yeah, Sasha, Naomi,
Yeah.
all the ones that have left and gone to AEW.
There's been just, I don't know, their writing staff is so out of touch. And I think it's because of where they're getting. They're getting people that are TV writers. They're not getting wrestling fans, or they're not getting the input of wrestling fans.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because recently I've done some job searching, and they were actually hiring writers. I think not even 2 weeks ago.
I actually applied once a while back, but I don't have any, of what they're looking for. College educated writers, they're looking for people who do that as a profession. And I don't have a profession background when it comes to writing, but I do know a little something about wrestling. I do talked to a lot of wrestling fans, and what you're giving us is not what we want, which is why you have record low ratings.
Yeah, I think any of the fans could write better stories than what they're doing.
Or just listen to Paul Heyman once in a while. Maybe that would work.
That too.
All right, so I got a scenario for you.
Okay.
If every system that you've ever played a game on that you've ever created for got hit with some sort of a virus all of a sudden, it's going to crash and take all of your creations with it, except you can save one. Which of your creations do you save? Yeah, which of your kids are you going to choose?
That's a good question. I guess I got to go with the Fiend because I think I've spent the most time on him, and that's definitely been my most popular one so far. I just feel like there'd be so many hours and days wasted if I lost that one, so I'd have to save him.
That's a good pick. And I can only imagine. I mean, that's got to be a tough game. That was for 2K22?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least they came up with the mask eventually, but originally, when the game first launched, they didn't have the right mask in there.
Yeah, I know.
So when they finally came up with that, it definitely made a big difference in the quality of the creations that people were putting out there. The modders have done as much as I've ever seen, and that's the best thing, again, about this cross-platforming that we have this year. The same way people are saying that we had some of the best community creations on PS4, that there were a lot of things that I was seeing on Steam that the PC guys were able to do, and we couldn't get it. And now we have had some opportunities there where guys like What's the Status were able to put together some things and unlock characters from my GM mode or my career and get that out to the community.
Yeah, that has been really cool. He's definitely had a big part. I think he just recently uploaded the DX, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
Because they just released the My Faction cards. And yeah, there's been a lot of wrestlers that I feel like they should have had in the game that they didn't. Like, the younger Triple H or the younger Rock. Old school Kane. A lot of characters like that. I just don't understand why they weren't in the game in the first place. So,
and I think part of the reason why they're starting to release them now with these patches is because they realize, the game's still broken. It still has a lot of issues, and they have to give something back to the community. Now we have the scenario where they're giving us one less DLC wrestler than what we paid for, but then they think they're going to make it up by giving us an extra faction card. I've never played my faction. I have no intention of playing my faction. I'm not an online player when it comes to this game. So that does me zero good.
Yeah, I hear you. I heard about that too a few days ago. I mean, I don't understand why they couldn't put, another wrestler in there. Like Cody Rhodes, for example. You have him in your company now. I don't imagine it takes too long to make, one wrestler.
Well, in their defense, so the reason they can't get it into this particular game is it's not as simple as just scanning somebody in. If it were, that would still take some time, but it's not that simple. You have to do a lot more with it with the move sets, even though a lot of the moves are already there, but to package them with the character. And the biggest thing would be then how does the audio work in the game, because there's no way they're going to get all of the commentary in. The ring announcer no longer works for the company, so you're going to introduce him as a superstar still, or do you call him Cody Rose, which I think is the closest option you have. So there's some legitimacy to a certain degree on that, but I do feel like there are other options that they could come up with.
They could add other arenas like they did with NXT 2.0, or I don't know, just like another like character pack with like a bunch of hairstyles and attires, just anything besides my faction cards.
Exactly. My faction is probably the least compatible fix to try and equate. I just don't. Yeah, I don't see how that's going to work out. I didn't even realize apparently there are several unlockable arenas through MyRise that I didn't even know. Or that's what somebody's telling me. Like Evolution, for example, the women's match arena, that's unlockable if you go through MyRise. WrestleMania, I believe it was this last year's arena, is in the game if you do MyRise. The Dallas, Texas one, it looked like it anyway. That's what I saw the images. But that you get a special WrestleMania arena by playing through MyRise. Man, some of us paid $120 for this game. Just give us the content.
I know. Yeah, I haven't gotten into MyRise too much. I've just barely gotten past the beginning.
Yeah, same exact here.
Yeah, I've been creating so much. But that is one of the other modes that I enjoy.
Oh, you like that one? Okay. Well, then you'll get to it at least at some point in time, whereas I just wasn't feeling it, man. I'd rather just do my own thing than follow their paths.
Well, like I said, as long as, there's something in it, like to unlock, might as well go through it.
Yeah, well, that's what they're counting on. That's why they put it in there. That's why they have all those little hidden gems in there. Again, you wouldn't even have Dominic Mysterio if you didn't play the Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't say he's like in the top of my 10 list of current-day wrestlers, but at the same point in time, he is a current-day wrestler, and I wanted him in my roster, so I had to do what I had to do. All right, I'm going to ask you a question that I ask everybody towards the end of these interviews, and be very curious to get your response on this one. So, if God does exist, what do you want to hear from him when you get to heaven?
That is a deep question.
Yes, it is.
Just curious, as a counter question, why do you ask that?
Because that question was on this show. Again, is based on a show that was called Inside the Actors Studio, and James Lipton was the host, and he would ask several sets of questions of every Hollywood star that came on the set, and that was the last question he would always ask them, and I just thought it was a great question.
Okay.
Because whether somebody believes or doesn't believe, it's not asking that. It's just saying, if he does exist, what do you want to hear from him?
Yeah. I think I would just want to hear that he's pleased with how I live my life, and I would hope that he's enjoyed any of my art, whether it would be, my creations on 2K22 or traditional art. I just would hope that he would say that he's enjoyed any of my creations as much as I've enjoyed his.
Excellent answer. All right. Well, again, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out. I know you're busy and you just keep rocking these things out. Looking forward to seeing do you have anything you're working on right now that you can tease?
I'm always working on something. Yeah, well, I just released Anna from Frozen. Still working on Elsa. A lot of movie characters. I plan on making celebrities. Celebrities, for example, I've got Ice Cube I'm working on, Snoop Dogg, a couple of other musicians. As far as wrestlers go, I'm probably not going to make too many more, just because, like I said earlier, there's just so many versions out there.
Yeah.
But one wrestler I am working on is Darby Allin.
It's a good one.
I know there are a couple good ones out there, like Dre 41, for example. I think probably has the best one. Azortheus CAWS has a good one. But I don't know if you caught it, that match he had with Jeff Hardy.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to make that attire of his.
I tell you what, man, he's a young guy. I worry about his future if he keeps doing that crazy crap.
I can't believe he got up after that.
No. Between him and Jeff, I didn't know if either would get up, because Jeff ate that one, man. There's no way not to. Geez, when he left the ladder, I thought maybe someone was going to come in and push the ladder over so he couldn't make the jump or whatever. Oh, God. I just held my breath it felt like a minute.
I know. The way he landed, like on the chair, I don't understand how he's not bruised all over.
Oh, I'm sure he's bruised, but I'm more amazed that he's walking away.
That too. And then
Oh.
you got a guy like Sting who's 63, just jumping off into tables and things like that. The show's crazy.
They're getting more out of Sting than the WWE did, and they had him 10 years earlier. Go figure this.
I know.
Ugh.
Just bad betting, I guess.
All right. Well, go ahead and plug your channel. So your YouTube channel, where we can see some of the other stuff in action, is...
Yep, it's Rebel Without a Cause. That's really the best place to keep up with my work. You can follow me on Twitter, but I don't post everything on there.
That's good. That's why you have to watch both.
That's right.
That's how you get the whole picture.
Just stay tuned, and if you want to try and find me on Community Creations, you can just use the hashtag. It's Rebel Cause. I know when you try to type in creator name, for some reason it doesn't work. Like you type it in.
Yeah, it's one of the many broken things about the game. You're right. The creator name doesn't seem to work, so that's why it's important to get the hashtags. And I'm going to put all that stuff, of course, in the description box down below here on the video, so you guys can just do a one click and get to everything you need to get. Rebel, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. This has been great. I've had a great time.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to get together and do something else again. We were talking about it earlier, but maybe getting like 2 or 3 guys all together and just having an open forum. And I wouldn't mind doing it live. This way the folks watching can ask their questions, because I know they're going to have a bunch as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. Just hit me up.
I will do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it. Rebel Without a Cause. Thank you so much, and we will see you again real soon. Take it easy, buddy.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank
Bye.
you.